Maybe Oracle is an outlier on your thesis that the AI stocks have, excuse me, the software stocks have reached bottom because there, if you look at that chart, the short interest continues to build. I mean, there people think there's something maybe inherently wrong with Oracle, maybe that's different than Salesforce or these others. I mean, do you see anything different here that's maybe more existentially problematic for Oracle than it is for the others?
Here's what this is saying. Um, if you look at this chart, even though the short interest is, called a point and a half, right? If you look at it, the history of short interest for Oracle, it's many times higher than its historical average. It's 3 standard deviations above the 1 year average of 1.4%.
Oh,
So it's telling you how intense, how intense the short interest conviction is on Oracle.
much higher than any of these others.
It's high relative to its own history. It's the top in the software
Well,
sector.
let me ask you this, Bob. Is there an existential problem with Oracle as opposed to the other ones?
We look at the data. We're not a fundamental analyst in on the company, but look, they've issued a lot of debt, and part of this magnitude is hedging. The instruments the debt issuance that are issued, but part of it is there is a conviction that the narrative of AI being a monopoly and a threat, particularly to its database management, right? That's what this is saying. And
I know, but it's
you
saying
look,
something more particular to Oracle, I think.
it's saying, well, it's saying something pretty much about everything, above 1.5, right? So, you look at Autobox, Dropbox, Dynatrace. I'm sure if you looked at the AI narrative and at what people think is a threat to these stocks, we don't know every single stock here. That's not our job. Our job is to actually measure stuff like this and see what the data actually says. So you can have things where the average short interest is 1.7, 1.6. And you say, on a absolute basis, does that mean anything? And if you said, well, 1%, does that sound like a lot to you? No, but it actually is. And that's because you have to look at the history and look at the mean and then just see how many standard deviations this number is away from the mean. And that is important. It's important because it's a measure of magnitude and conviction. So the marketplace right now is telling you, hey, maybe there is something wrong. And to your point, why doesn't he spend $10 billion more on up in the ante? Maybe he will. I don't know. But all we're here to say is there's a good portion of professional investors that have a pretty high conviction about Oracle's immediate future, next 90 days, next 180 days. That's what this says.
And by the way, that's the time frame this deal is playing out.